What's the moment you realized your whole life could change in a single conversation? It happened on a gray afternoon when the rain wouldn't let up. I'd just gotten home from work, soaked through and shivering, when I noticed Dad sitting at the kitchen table with an envelope in front of him. He didn't look up when I came in, just kept turning the envelope over in his hands like it might bite him. Mom stood by the counter pretending to dry dishes, but I could tell she'd been crying. I asked what was wrong, but neither of them answered right away. Finally, Dad slid the envelope toward me. It was from the bank. Inside was a foreclosure notice. We were 3 months behind on the mortgage, and unless we could make a payment by the end of the month, we'd lose the house. The same house my parents had bought when I was a kid. The house with pencil marks still on the wall from my growth chart. The house that smelled like Mom's cinnamon rolls in winter. I felt my stomach drop. They hadn't told me how bad things had gotten. I worked a modest job, barely enough to cover my own bills, but now I was desperate to help. That night, after they went to bed, I pulled out my old laptop and searched every side gig I could think of. Dog walking, tutoring, odd jobs, anything. The next morning, I started working before the sun came up. I delivered newspapers, walked 3 neighborhood dogs, and spent evenings tutoring 2 kids in math. I came home so tired some nights I fell asleep on the couch without dinner. By the 3rd week, I'd saved $340. It was something, but nowhere near enough. Then one Friday, while tutoring, the kid's grandmother overheard me mention working multiple jobs. She asked why. I hesitated, but ended up telling her everything. She didn't say much, just nodded and offered me tea. 3 days later, she showed up at our house. She was carrying a tin of cookies and a small white envelope. Inside was a check for $1,500. My parents froze. I started to protest, but she held up her hand. "This is not charity," she said. "Years ago, someone helped me keep my home. I promised I'd do the same for someone else one day. Consider it my turn." We were speechless. Dad's voice cracked when he said thank you. Mom hugged her like she was family. With that money, plus what I'd earned, we scraped together enough for the payment. We kept the house. I thought the story ended there. But a year later, I heard through the neighborhood that a young couple down the street was struggling with their rent after a medical emergency. I didn't have much, maybe a few hundred to spare, but I remembered that promise the grandmother had made. So I baked cookies, just like hers, and tucked the money into an envelope. I knocked on their door and said, "Someone once did this for me. I'm just passing it on." The way they looked at me, relief, disbelief, gratitude, it was exactly how my parents had looked that rainy afternoon. And in that moment, I realized something. You can't always fix the world, but sometimes, with a little help at the right time, you can fix a corner of it. Years from now, maybe they'll do the same for someone else. And maybe, just maybe, that kindness will keep moving forward, like a chain we can't see but all feel.